Hello Hema, hello Satabisha.
Hello, sir.
Yes, let's just wait for a few minutes until everyone shows up and then we'll start.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's slowly start. Okay. So there are a couple of more students who are going to join. Let them join when they come. So are you all able to see the screen that I have shared?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is Hema, right? I got a yes from Hema, right? Hi Anand Krishnan. Hi Anu. Hi Asan. Hema. Iram. Satabisha. Okay. So welcome everyone. Let's start. I'm sorry, so my connection got cut. Just give me a minute. And start. Yeah, I have so two connections. I have one in Airtel and I have another Geo, just in case one is slow, join the other. Okay, so can you all hear me? There should be more students over here, but let's not wait anymore any further. Can you all hear me? You can turn on your mics. That's okay, unless there is some disturbance. Okay.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay, nice. So you all, I think, saw the agenda for today. So I'm not going to repeat that. So just to actually start the class, I am going to give some context similar to what I gave in the YouTube video when I posted about this mentoring program. And things like this Hindustani music concerts, I try to start slow, take some time to gather momentum, and then as the class progresses, I hope everyone picks up the pace. So it's okay to be slow and all that, the initial stages. Yeah, the core boils down to, so how many of you know all the visions of India 2020? Okay, so how many of you have at least seen there are 10 visions. Have you all seen it at least once? So we have to get interactive. So either you can raise your hand in Zoom or
No, sir.
okay, yeah, mic is the best. Okay, so you have not. Okay, has anyone read about India Vision 2020? Anyone? Has anyone read Wings of Fire by Dr. Kalam?
Half of it, sir.
Half of it. Okay, great. So I suggest you read at least the Wings of Fire, and for the Vision 2020, at least take a look at the 10 visions in Wikipedia. Like, what were the dream of an entire country? So 1 or 2 decades back. So as I said, I am specifically I am deeply concerned about three visions, and that's all those three are closely related to biomedical engineering. So with those of you who are joining now, initially we'll give some context, we'll set the stage, we'll gradually pick up pace and then get into it. So the three visions that I was concerned about is the nation where the best of healthcare is available to all citizens, nation where education with a good value system is not denied to any meritorious candidates, okay, because of societal or economic discrimination. Nation which is the best destination for the most talented scholars, scientists, and investors from all. Okay. So when it comes to healthcare and again education, healthcare is one of the major problems all over the world. Do you agree? Even some of the most developed countries are not really up for handling many healthcare crises. Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So one example is actually the pandemic that's currently going on.
Yes, sir.
And so even in with all this advancement of science and technology, there are nice yearly diagnostic systems available, amazing imaging systems available. We can do it. I mean, get a lot of protein level, gene level information. We can do gene level manipulations and all that. But when it comes to India, we also need to ask specific questions. If India has a couple of added complexities to the healthcare problem. One is its numbers. Given the population, how do we address, such a huge population? That's one major challenge, not necessarily seen by developing countries. And the solutions that are currently available in developing countries, they are not necessarily affordable for Indians, right? Which is like a majority of population. So doesn't suffice to have some solution. We have to make it affordable. So affordable healthcare. I saw trainings on young minds, nurturing them, cultivating them. That was the most potential thing that I could envision, which is why I started this program and all that. At this point, given these complexities, so many complexities, doesn't mean that the solution is going to be, also complex. Many complex problems also have simple solutions. We need very passionate, dedicated, compassionate minds working together. There might be very simple solutions, just that we are not aware of it yet. That has been the case with many problems that we solved in the future, solved in the past. I also see that to be the case with current situation. Also in the future, problems we think are so complex, they will become simple. There might be simple solutions. I'll give you some examples as we pick up pace. So I mentioned about this affordability and all that, right? So healthcare, so let me give a very specific example on how important healthcare is for the development of the nation. Okay. A couple of decades back, poverty was a big problem. And poverty was leading to illness. For example, malnutrition. Agree with that? Do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So
Yes,
a
sir.
couple of decades back, poverty was leading to illness. And example is, say, malnutrition. We have solved that to a large extent, but not necessarily, everywhere in India to everyone in India. But that has been solved to a large extent. And situation there is improving a lot. Today's trend is where illness leads to poverty. There is a farmer somewhere, there is a daily wage worker somewhere. Someone is trying to get in with the name of user. You know who is, I'll admit him. There are issues, we'll solve that one. So daily wage workers, they are earning 100 rupees. Many people in India live based on 100 rupees per day. And even, someone manages to get to middle class, usually by means of education. There is one major healthcare problem. There is one heart attack. That's it. All the family's earnings are gone. And health problems also have other indirect costs. Usually, if someone is sick, there is one major working member in the family. They couldn't go to work. Then the entire family, is not without food and money. They get into this, so they start borrowing money. That leads to debt. Debt essentially pushes them back to poverty. So today we are addressing a situation where illness results in poverty. And to address this, we really need to come up with innovative solutions.
Disconnect करे दो
User, I don't know who that is. Okay. So to address that, we need to come up with user. We have some issue with you. Okay. So we have to come up with very innovative solutions. We have to be exceptional at what we are doing. It doesn't suffice to clear some exam. We have to master the subjects. We have to excel. Scholars from other parts of the world need to start looking at how we are solving the problems. So let me start giving some examples. There are so many positive things going on in the country. Let me give some examples of some simple solutions, affordable solutions, all that are going on in the country. Right now, can someone think of some nice healthcare revolutions or solutions that has been found, say in India, affordable solutions that has been found? Any of you, any guesses? Any news that you read somewhere? We should start making this interactive.
Sir, I think recently IIT Chennai, they developed like a portable room, which is an isolation room for corona patients.
Mm-hmm. Great. Portable isolation room for corona patients. That's okay. That's a nice example. So let me start giving one or two examples that I know of. Okay. So we have bionic arm. Bionic arm. The question is how affordable that is. Right? Someone says that in the chat. So I have a nice playlist in our YouTube channel. There are so many things related to biomedical other than game. Okay? One such playlist is on new Biomedical, where I try to get interesting healthcare solutions that we are finding that are very relevant to India. For example, in this case, yoga-based cardiac rehabilitation. We need some very expensive machines and skilled person for rehabilitation of heart attack patients. Now they realized you can replace that with yoga. Okay? That was a study done very recently, 1 or 2 years back. And then there are a couple of other interesting solutions. So this is a work from Microsoft Research India, where they solved a very important problem, tuberculosis. Okay, so go take a look at this playlist. And if you come across solutions, let me know. We'll start curating nice solutions. And so as I said, my idea was to train some excellent biomedical engineers. And I am not looking at students. I am talking to entrepreneurs, industry leaders, professors, right? Scientists, PSU officers, not. So that's what I'm seeing in each one of you, not just student who is trying to write the cake. I see you where you are 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. Okay. So do you all want to become, say, one of the things that I have written here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, Mathangi. Okay. Thanks, Prithvi. Great answer. Most of you want to, just that. Okay. So at this point, I want to, give some short philosophical perspectives before we get into the gate subject. That is, okay, you want to become all this, right? Entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and all that. This is I like this quote very much. One of my favorite quotes is, "As you think, so shall you become." Right. So we are closely related Tamil poem that was cited by Dr. Kalams is this: "Whatever is the depth of the pond, the lily flower will eventually come to the surface." Like that, in any of these ventures, right? Vision is the first important thing. The people who became, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs who became billionaires, someday they thought they could become, a billionaire by starting a company. The best professors whose books are used by all students all over the world, they thought they could do it someday. Nobel Prize winners, again, they thought Nobel Prize was not something out of the world. Some human being, some scientist in the world gets it. If I work hard, if I do the right things, that is possible. Someone thought it was possible. For GATE, it might be like something simple like All India Rank 1. But I gave much better examples. So when you have a vision, you don't have to necessarily restrict yourself. Right? Have a nice vision. Make your expectations unreasonable. Solve a real problem. Only thing you need is, so whenever there is this, when we start dreaming, things get out of control. All you need is one additional thing, and that is compassion. Okay? So, do you know who this is in this picture? Anyone? Any guesses? I have a photo here. Prithvi, we couldn't hear you. Maybe you can also type.
Uh, Sir, not APJ Abdul Kalam, na sir.
Yeah, still slightly lesser. Prithvi, couldn't hear you. So start typing in the chat, okay?
Sir, is it APJ Abdul Kalam? I don't think.
Oh, this is not APJ Abdul Kalam. You all know how Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam looks, right? This is not Dr. Kalam. So this is someone by the name Dr. V. Govindappa Venkatasamy. He started this Aravind Eye Care Hospitals. And, if you saw the YouTube video that I posted, I cite this as the inspiration for the economic model that I am following. He did certain things that many people thought were impossible. To give some very brief introduction, in his hospitals, so there is this preventable blindness that can be certainly cured or prevented, or correctable blindness. Someone is blind, do one operation, you can correct that blindness. So that operation, Aravind Eye Care Hospitals, the way they do it is, anyone can walk into the hospital, get the operation done, they can pay what they want. By which I mean, for example, the president can walk into his hospital, get the operation done for free. Another common man can get the operation and pay whatever he wants. So that was a kind of economic model that he started. So they study this in MBAs and all that as a case study. It's a very revolutionary idea. And he also like brought down the cost of all this intraocular lenses by orders lesser than what they were. And he started manufacturing them here, Madurai, India. And one of his quotes is that, in biomedical, in healthcare, we are not helping someone else. We are only helping ourselves. It's not another person that we are all talking to. That kind of compassion is what will keep your vision stable. So dream big, don't restrict yourself. At the same time, be compassionate. That will hold you. Okay. Okay. So some brief context on what we are doing, why we are doing that. So let me get into the things. And one of the examples that there is a complex problem that, and give me an example that revolutionized things, I would always quote this hero over here. Do you know who this is? He should be slightly more famous.
Sir, it's Arunachalam.
Arunachalam. Okay, his name is written over here. We know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The actual Batman from
Yes. Okay, so we have this Batman movie. That is, the actual Batman is this person over here. And this is the best example that I could think of for one reason. Okay, he took a societal problem. He did not just solve it. This hygiene, so many problems associated with this feminine hygiene. He just did not solve it. He took a problem. He converted that into a livelihood. Started giving jobs to so many women. What was a problem become a job to someone, right? Making all these things. And a simple idea, but the way path was very hard, as you might have seen in the movie. But a very simple idea, right? A societal problem became a societal livelihood. It's the best example, and this certainly improves healthcare all over India, right? Very affordable. Affordable is like out of the question. Problem became a solution or a livelihood. So things are possible. We have examples of, how to handle very complex problems and all that. Okay, this is another playlist where I have, if you want get some inspiration or motivation sometime, you can check this playlist. You might find anything from arts to science, engineering to philosophy, mathematics, all of them. Okay. Okay, so let's get into the class. Let's get into Gate. This is why it's a practical thing, a tangible thing that we can see right now. So some students who are sitting here, yes. One thing that I want to tell you is, this is not going to be like a conventional online class. Okay, this flipped activities and all that is one thing. But we are also, recognize that you are sitting with another student here. Do you all agree? You are not sitting alone. You are not just sitting alone with me. There is another student. There are students here.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Please recognize that. So this class is non-conventional in that sense. There are many students sitting over here, which means that it's more like a college class. We'll be doing this for 6 months, but we've done a lot in the process. We'll have a lot of experiences. You'll form a lot of friends. And if you stick to biomedical, some of these friends are going to be your best friends throughout your professional life. Okay, please keep that in mind. So you are in this set of amazing students from all over India. It's not just like computers and some teacher or some guy talking in front of a camera. We're all sitting here. And I'll suggest ways to make this more, in which we can interact more towards the end of this class. Okay, so do you all agree with this one point that I mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. We'll briefly take a look at diagnostic 1 results, the program structure, essentially look at details that were there in the offer letter. Then the major part of this class is going to deal with what are the books and resources that will be useful for practice. I already put up a video on what are the books that I should refer. In 5 months, you may not be able to refer all those books. So some of them are very big. We cannot dig through them. But I need practice questions. Where should I refer to? That we'll answer this in this class. We all will answer in this class. Finally, some conclusions.